When I did the onside kick to myself, I thought I was going to get killed. I thought that was going to be a scrum on top of me.
It should have been.
I agree. And if you watch the video back, I lay there and you actually see me with the ball go, oh no. Because I thought it was just going to be two helmets directly into spleen on my back as soon as I laid there. Yeah. And turns out, didn't even get touched. No. Didn't even get touched. I was so pumped. I was like, okay, I don't have to piss blood and we got a ball and I didn't even get touched. Let's get out of here. Thank God.
When I watch that, I get scared for you. Even though I've seen the outcome, I get scared for you. I'm like, oh, this dude's going to get annihilated.
Turn your back.
You executed it beautifully. Like, that's very, very difficult to do. But the fact that you didn't get 2 to 3 helmets all over your back and neck,
you see me whenever I lay down. Literally, I go, oh my God, it's about to come. But let's just hang on here. And then nothing happened. And then my teammates picking me up. And I almost come out of in disbelief. I'm like, oh, okay. What? We did it. Oh, what a moment. Yeah, because I'm not tough enough to take that. They didn't even touch me, though. The guy did 2 hands on my back. I was like, thank you. What a gentleman.
How mad are those? How mad is the special teams coach in Houston for his front line guys that bailed early on you?
So they cut to him in the clip, and he goes very, very openly, fuck me. They show the clip, they show me get tagged down, and then they cut to him on the sideline, and he very clearly, I do a bow obviously once I stand up, they very clearly goes, fuck me. And it was, I felt terrible. Guy's a good guy. The guy was a very good guy. I felt very, very bad about it. Very, very bad.
I've played that front line right in front of the ball on kickoff return, and they always they'll drill it into your head and do not leave early. They're going to take advantage of it. I assume you saw those frontline guys leave early in weeks before that?
So we kicked an onside kick to the right, and we've kicked one to the left. So they actually had their hands team out and had nobody in the middle. So they actually had nobody in the middle. And either a week prior to that or 2 weeks prior to that. Yeah, so they got nobody near in front. So they got everybody lined up.
Did you make the call on your own here or to go middle?
Yeah, this was very much a check with me here. So if you look to the right there, they were getting ready for an onside, potentially to right. This was the year that we were just kicking surprise onside kicks all the time. It was awesome. And to be honest, because we were doing that, everybody had their hands team out for us every single kickoff. This is what the rules are now for kickoff return because they actually studied our film on how many injuries happen because it's more like a punt return because the kickoff return is running with the kickoff team as opposed to setting up way back there and going. That's what we faced all year. That's why my touchback percentage, I think, was the highest in the history because there was nobody to set up blocks. So if I just got that thing 1 yard in the end zone, it was going to be a touchback because they knew that nobody was able to block anybody because they had their hands team out there. But we kicked one right, we kicked one left, so they had nobody in the middle of the field. And actually a week or two before that, because we kicked one right and to the left, I told Tom McMahon and Chuck, I was like, hey, if there's nobody in the middle, can I just kick it to myself? And they were like, nobody's going to do that, obviously. But if that happens, yeah, almost like shit talking. If they do that, you can do it, right? And I'm like, okay. So we hit the first kickoff, and I go over to Tom McMahon, and I'm like, hey, there's nobody in the fucking middle. There's nobody in the middle. I'm going to do it or whatever. He goes, if you call it, you better get it. And if you don't, just go ahead and walk right off the field, basically. And I was like, you got it. So the next time came out there, I looked at it, and I had a sign for our 2 guys. I would hit my hamstrings. If I tap my hamstrings twice, just stay the hell out because they would roll in for the coverage. They just stayed out there the whole time, and boom, wide open. I mean, it was just it was a pretty cool little moment.
So did they know, though, the guys, the kickoff team with you, they knew you were kicking in the middle, right to yourself? Were they going to come in as reinforcements and try to knock guys off and not let them hit you?
Kind of, but it wouldn't have happened. In the huddle or whatever beforehand, we call whatever the call is. It was probably maybe deep right or whatever it was. And in the huddle, I say, hey, if I hit my hamstrings here, just stay the fuck out. Because there's one guy on the right and there's one guy on the left who are leading the run. I think it was Colt Anderson, the Montanimal, and I think it was Boom or Luchez Purifor. I forget who it was on the other side. And basically I told him hey, if I hit my hamstrings, just stay the hell out. And boom, hamstring hit. They just stay out there. And then they come running in afterwards, obviously. But, yeah, I come to the sideline, and Tom McMahon's losing his mind, obviously. He's pumped up about it. Chuck's like, are you kidding me? And then we have a guy named David Thornton, who's the player personnel guy, player development guy. And he's
I remember him as a player.
Cool dude. One of the best dudes I've ever been around. He works out, I think, 5 times a day. Just absolute monster. Hasn't done legs in probably 10 years, but he comes up to me and goes, stay humble, stay humble, stay humble. And I say, it's going to be fucking hard, DT. And I take my helmet off, and that's right when the camera comes on. I mean, it was, that's a cool moment. That's primetime television too, you know? So that type of stuff it doesn't happen a lot. You don't really get that. They did that in rugby last week.
Were they chirping on their side?
No, it was very frustrating. I mean, we were a problem for kickoff return. I mean, we were a problem. We were kicking so many onside kicks that people were scared to death. I mean, that's a turnover. That's an interception right there. We were running fake punts. We were running onside kicks. I think I had like 5-6 turnovers if you count them as that way in one season.
Quick 2 possessions to start the game.
Yep. Bingo. Here we go. We're off and running. I mean, it was a lot of fun. And when you have a coach like Tom and like Chuck that are like, hey, let's go for it, it's so awesome. Because all those things, if they don't, work out, boy, you're setting your team up in a terrible position. And you got to really hope everybody's on the same page.
There's a good chance if you don't get that your defense, the whole defense is pretty mad at you. The whole staff, the defensive staff is really mad. The offensive staff is mad as well. And the chances of you getting that onside are probably like 7% for you to kick an onside and get it yourself. Maybe less than that, honestly. It
probably less. It's probably less than that. The colleges pull it off more because they don't have as much speed. The reason why that's tough is because the amount of speed in the NFL. Like, guys, you have to measure, okay, that guy is 22 yards off the line of scrimmage right now. This ball has to travel at least 10 yards. Can he get 12 yards before I can get to 10 and a half yards? That is like, that is the math equation that you have to do. And in NFL, there's so much speed. It's like I don't know. I think somebody did it last year, I believe. Maybe. I don't know.
You have to kick a perfect ball, though.
Oh, yeah.
Young Ho?
Young Ho.
Young Ho did one?
Young Ho might have got it. I don't know. But yeah, I never kicked it that good, by the way, in practice. I mean, that thing just stopped right at 10 yards for me, basically. In practice, it was like I was sprinting, and it was like hopping up next to me, and I was like grabbing it. I was like, oh, yeah, no problem here. No problem at all. And then the one in the game just died perfectly.
Jason Sanders.
Jason Sanders for Miami.
Dolphins, yeah.
Good for him. Good for him.
With their setup there, though, the Texans, when they left nobody in the middle, the players, sure, like you can try to blame the players, but it's ultimately on the coach there. If that's your setup, like I played front line, and I know I've had people surprise onside me where I left a step or two early, and it happened because for 85 other kickoff returns, I left a little bit early. I started to leave a little bit early, and then you get comfortable doing that, and then boom, someone bunts one at you.
Oh, we're just watching that too.
What?
Just you. Hey.
Oh yeah.
Hey, the right guard up here on the front line right here, AJ Hawk, fifth overall pick right here. They got him in here just like so he can earn his stripes or whatever. He hates it. Look at him. You are 3 feet away from the ball, and he's already turning. If we need one, right there's the guy you need to go to.
Yeah, you guys will single him out real fast. I know you will. I remember my freshman year in college, we were playing against Miami. It was a national championship. And I was like, all right, first kickoff of the game. I'm on front line right in front of the ball. I'm like, I'm not going to leave early, man. I gotta stay with it. I'm not leaving early. All of a sudden, I sit there. I watch the kickoff. This is what started the game. I watch them kick it off. I'm like, okay, cool. It's deep. I turn around. I take off. I sprint back. I'm maybe 40 yards. And I turn around, and the guy I'm supposed to block is like 30 yards past me, already tackling the ball carrier. And so I was like, all right. I was about 80 yards deep then when the kicker would get to the ball the rest of the game because I was like, these guys are too fast. I can't get back there. And then we turn around after that first kickoff. I'm talking to my buddies, and I'm like, hey, did you get your guy? They're like, hell no, I didn't even see my guy. So all of us just had to leave early.
Hey, those special teams guys, you got some freak athletes on there, especially down at the U or whatever, the guys that maybe couldn't make the backups there that were just freak athletes.
Like a 4.25 right past you, and they're super physical. And you're, geez, man, why isn't this guy's the best football player I've ever seen? It happens.
After I made a couple of tackles and we kicked a couple onside kicks, Tom McMahon every single week was scared that they were going to send a guy. So I kick off, guy doesn't turn, just comes right at me basically, like to get me rattled or whatever, you know? So like opening kickoff, Tom would be like, whatever, and he'd be like, let's go, baby. And then he'd be like, eyes up after you kick, by the way. Eyes up after you kick, because it was always a fear that I would kick one, I'd have my head down still, and as soon as I lift up my head, there's a guy there potentially to take me out. And there was a couple times I thought a guy was going to come kill me. I olayed a guy one time, felt really athletic about that. And then there was one guy that just danced with me, and I was very thankful because he could have I mean, he could have if he really
Are
wanted.
they allowed to do that anymore? Are you allowed to go pick off the kicker?
No, they changed that rule because it wasn't just the kicker that was getting picked off. Like, we did it to the Broncos, and I felt terrible about it. They had a stud on special teams, and he was making every single play for their kickoff team, their punt team, everything. So we just had a guy, as soon as the kickoff happened, okay, you just get him from line of scrimmage all the way down, and it ended up being a big collision. Guy got hurt, I think, for the game or whatever. So he didn't get hurt, like, for the rest of the season, but I think for like the quarter or whatever. And we thought for the rest of the year, then somebody was going to send one back at us, like, because we did that. So now it's like, hey,
It's like baseball.
What's that?
It's like baseball when you hit their guy. Like, hey, someone's getting, all right, one of us is getting hit next inning.
And in the special teams, that's its own individual war going on between special teams coordinators.
The special teams coordinators are always absolutely crazy. Roller coasters of emotion throughout the week, and especially on game day. They drank 87 Red Bulls and 40 cups of coffee before and during the game, and they're just run up and down trying to herd cattle, trying to make sure you get 11 guys on the field.
Yeah, that's Mitt's like, that is an accurate statement. That is what my father's been like for 20 years now. That is exactly what it is. It's awesome.
That's every special team. That's why special teams coaches are awesome, because they're always like good, fun dudes, but they're all crazy and they all have a weird manic energy.
Love ball.
Oh, and they know how to bring all these guys together. It's such a tough job. You're coaching a bunch of guys who don't want to be there, who think they should be starting on offense or defense, and you got to make them go run 80 yards down the field and try to Olay guys or try to take on a blocker and then make a tackle. Like, all of it, it's real tough. It is. Honestly, I give those guys a ton of credit. The special teams coaches that are good, I give them a lot of credit.
You said those guys all think they should be starting. Their entire lives they've been starting. Their entire lives they've been stars. And it's like, now I need you to pass set for a punt. It's like, I'm not on a fucking punt team. I'm the guy. It's like, well, right now there's about 4 other guys that are all older and richer and better than you. So you want to pass set here, or do you want to get out of here? And then it's like, well, now we got to teach them how to properly do a pass set in their 21st year of football, potentially. It's like, it is an insane thing. The fact that it even happens is wild.
Look good, feel good, play good.
Play good, pay good, live good, die good.